As a group, we have decided to analyze Starbucks processes and layouts. Over the course of the next 10 minutes, we will look into and explain to you, firstly, the history of Starbucks, including where its passion originates from, and also its huge growth geographically and economically. Secondly, we will look at the process and layout of Starbucks factories. And finally, we will consider the process and layout of its coffee houses. Starbucks is well known for purchasing and roasting high-quality, whole bean coffees. That is the core of their company, but it hardly tells the whole story. Starbucks coffee houses are undeniably nicknamed as beacons for coffee lovers everywhere. This is because they can count on genuine service, an inviting atmosphere, and a superb cup of expertly roasted and richly brewed coffee every time. They are about being a neighborhood gathering place, a part of a daily routine. In 2014, we never feel or are far from a Starbucks. But in 1971, we would have had to have traveled all the way to their only store in Seattle's historic Pike Place Market. In 1982, Howard Schultz joined the company. His presence changed Starbucks drastically, and now they are present not only across the United States, but the entire world. In 1998, they successfully entered the European market through its acquisition of 65 Seattle coffee company stores in the UK. The two companies shared a common culture, focusing on a great commitment to customized coffee, similar company values, and a mutual respect for people and the environment. After becoming one of the first companies to offer stock options to its part-time employees, Starbucks became a publicly traded company. The Starbucks phenomenon continues in the 21st century. Today, Starbucks has over 17,000 stores in over 50 countries. We are now going to talk about the coffee beans process. With more than 15,000 stores to supply the coffee beans, this process is a mass production, which means high volumes, narrow variety in the fundamental product design, and repetitive production is also highly automated. There are three critical steps in processing the beans. Firstly, picking and sorting. Green beans will arrive weekly from suppliers in 150-pound sacks. After receiving and checking the material, forklifts will be used to transport the raw beans from the docks to the storage area. Next, the beans will be poured out of the sacks and transported to the sifter machine, called the Cimbria, which removes all dirt and debris and prepares the beans for roasting. The beans are then transported using pneumatic conveyors into long tubular airtight silos, which separate each of the different types of beans. The beans are then released from the tubes and sent into the roasting machines. The beans are now ready to be roasted. Starbucks has 6 roasting centers where the beans are prepared. This number may seem very small for such an incredibly large company like Starbucks, but this centralized system is very effective. These roasting centers make sure every single one of the beans is prepared, manufactured, and packaged in the exact same way, and quickly passes through a well-designed manufacturing process. Then the roasting process can begin. There is a high quality control. With every batch, the master roaster is on hand to taste, observe, and make subtle adjustments for each roasting. For Starbucks, the mark of perfection is sourcing the beans of a high quality, that they can even be roasted extra dark, a highly skilled process which means that only a slight inaccuracy could burn the beans. After being roasted, an expert roaster tests the quality of the beans and discards beans which do not meet Starbucks' quality requirement. All beans that pass the quality test remain in the roaster for the next 24 to 48 hours of resting time, as they continue to develop their flavor after roasting. The beans are then transported to the blending machines using pneumatic conveyors. Next, blending is done to mix the roasted coffee beans and create distinct coffee flavors. After blending, the beans are packed in specially designed vacuum packs, which allow gases to escape without the beans being exposed to the damaging air. Finally, the packaged coffee is placed in boxes and checked at several points to make sure the same flavors instilled by the skill of the roaster are maintained to the point where they are served. With over 70,000 deliveries daily, Starbucks is able to supply each store with adequate amounts of coffee. Next, we shall consider Starbucks factory layout. They have the objective to design the most efficient, economical, and profitable facility layout that meets all the processing and personal requirements. As mentioned earlier, there are 3 main processes and 15 stages the beans could go through. Human supervision is needed to ensure smooth operations, as not every stage is mechanized from receiving the raw materials to order fulfillment. The previous layouts adopted proved to be inefficient. It had a vertical pattern which caused blending and roasting areas being far apart, which resulted in transportation of goods from one department to the next haphazardly. Therefore, they constructed a new layout with the product layout format. The materials are moved through transforming resources according to the stage of the process. The new layout now has a more circular pattern, as the process begins and ends at the same area of the factory, which is the bottom left, making it convenient to have one loading dock to receive and deliver goods. Also, they have acquired a crane which allows them to vertically stack packages. This leaves for better utilization of space throughout the plant. In terms of serving the personal requirements, 2 sets of break rooms and restrooms are allocated close to packing and palletizing areas respectively, therefore reducing the risk of idle time in the early stages of the production process, where time is not only a necessity, but beans are time sensitive while roasting and blending. This feature of the layout has resulted in less faulty goods and saved costs in that sense. Here are the main objectives of the Starbucks factory plant. They have low variation and high volume. They do have high standards to conform to when it comes to quality. This is the essence of the process design and layout of the plant. Next, we will explain the processes in a Starbucks coffee house. We have already talked about how Starbucks aims at providing a complete coffee house experience and becomes a part of everyday routine to customers. Starbucks provides free Wi-Fi in all of its stores and also plays a list of hand-picked tunes. The process in a Starbucks coffee house is based on a command line. The process starts when a customer makes an order. The process of choosing an order is simple, as Starbucks provides a large variety of coffee types, and the customer can customize an order according to his or her preferences. The cashier then registers the order at the till and the payment is processed. The cashier writes the order on the cup briefly and writes the name of the customer on the cup, which adds to the personal touch. The cup is then passed to the barista, who brews the coffee as per the order and heats up the food order if there is any. The coffee is then delivered to the customer. This command line process is very efficient, yet the order is unique to the customer every time. They get exactly the kind of coffee they want, quickly, accurately, and to a consistent standard, all whilst being served by a smiling, friendly barista, according to company policies. Next, we shall consider the layout of their coffee houses. Starbucks adopts a mixed layout with cell and functional layout. Cell layout means families of resources are transformed in the same place. Then resources are transferred to the next cell after the transformation in one cell. In Starbucks' case, the cells are organized by product. Examples are the grab-and-go snacks located beside cashiers. These include small packaged products such as caramel waffle, which are suitable for particular customers, especially those who are in a hurry. They enjoy shorter waiting time compared to those who buy hot drinks, as those products require more steps to proceed to the stage of consumption. Starbucks can then enjoy fast throughput for the whole operation, as grab-and-go snacks are ready to eat right after the customer purchases them. Hence, Starbucks can have a good balance between cost and flexibility. Even they offer relatively high variety options. However, it needs more equipment to cope with its wide variety of supply. Moving on to functional layout. It means similar resources and processes locating together. Examples are coffee making machines are usually located together as to create convenience for staffs. Refrigerators containing cold food and drinks will be put together as they require common technology of the freezer. Customers of Starbucks will have different needs and therefore take different routes. Advantages are high mix and product flexibility and easy supervision of equipment, as equipment with similar functions are used to provide services to one or more products. Yet this may create queues as seen in the photo because this represents complex flow, which will cause difficulty in control and monitoring. We feel the main objectives of Starbucks coffee houses are fulfilled, notably with dependable outputs and good quality conformance. As we have explained, Starbucks runs with incredibly high efficiency in both its factories and its coffee houses. As they say themselves, we are so much more than we brew.